Thank you for joining us. This is Paul Wilson.
And Chris Emke.
And we're talking to Justin Duffy. Justin, how the hell are you?
Doing good. How you guys?
No, we're doing all right. No complaints. I would assume here we're doing a little bit better than you, being that All Truck Challenge is coming up here in a hurry. We're a couple weeks out.
Yeah. We still got a motor to put together. The trans is out of the truck, and I got 2 short blocks. I got to pick which the better one of the 2 and put it together, make something happen.
Small things. Small things. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
now, is this your first year competing in All Truck Challenge King of the Streets, or have you competed in past years?
no, we competed last year. First time. Last year was the first time.
Okay.
We ended up placing 6th out of, I think it was like 24 trucks. I know there's quite a few this year too.
Hell yeah, yeah. We're loving to see this competition grow
Right.
and how many people want to get in there, want to participate. Give our listeners a rundown, Justin. What is the truck you brought last year to All Truck Challenge?
It's pretty simple. I mean, it's just a 04 LOY Duramax. I mean, I bought it, 3 years ago, and it was completely stock, and we have transformed it now to, it's got an 850 roll cage in it. It's got, we've done some chassis work with the anti-roll bar, and my good buddy of mine's relocated the shocks. I mean, we've done very minimal suspension work and whatnot, and it's got a built motor. Last year at King of the Street, we actually had a stock motor in it, stock bottom end, and we were praying every pass we made and everything we did, hoping it would hold together, and it actually ended up making 1,300 horsepower on the dyno and doing 630 in the 8th, so it held up pretty decent. But it's a very mild setup. It's just a S400, a single S400, and 400 overs. We got dual injection pumps, so we got a single 14 mil in the valley and a 10 mil over top of it out on the belt. And we got some nitrous, quite a bit of nitrous.
Okay.
Simple setup. It's a simple setup, Chris.
And that's how you,
Yes.
and that's what you competed with last year.
Yeah, that's what we competed with last year. We still got the Allison transmission. We had the Allison in it last year too. And we've definitely had our battles with the Allison, that's for damn sure. But somehow we've kept it in there this long, so it's going to be in there this year too.
You have to be doing something right to keep a stock LLY together, bottom end wise. So, with last year and the hurdles and everything in competition, placing 6th out of 20 some odd trucks, did you run in any mechanical issues, anything like that to note, or everything went fairly smooth?
So surprisingly, everything went fairly smooth. Definitely better than we expected. We did have an issue with, I have a wastegate on the truck, which I think is one of the main things that kept the motor together, along with the turbo that I have on it when we spray the hell out of it. So we had an issue. Last year we were running CO2 to the top of the wastegate, and the CO2 bottle, I guess it had a leak, and it was out of CO2, and we were getting ready to get on the dyno, and we had I don't even think I had like a 3-pound spring in it, so we needed that CO2 pretty much, or the gate would be wide open and we would build no boost. So we had to get that figured out right before I got on the dyno. And then, other than that, we had an issue. We actually welded a front diff. I had a front diff, a stock one, that we welded the spider gear to try and get it to lock or stay locked. But the first sled pull we did, it broke itself to a million pieces, and that didn't end up working out too well. So it still pulled. It just it scared the heck out of me. So I let out of it. We lost all of our momentum, so didn't do too good in the pulling because of that. But other than those two issues, the truck ran really well.
So
we still were able to drive it home if we wanted to. The truck was still pretty happy.
What from 2020's experience did you look at and say, okay, I'm going to make these changes. I want to be more competitive going into 2021. What do some of those changes look like, and what was the reasoning for it?
The one thing that I learned from it was I didn't know the truck was going to go as fast as it did at first. I mean, we knew what it was capable of, but we weren't really trying to push it that hard because of the stock bottom end. But if you go 635 or faster without an NHRA license, without the chassis cert and a window net, I didn't know this at the time. So we actually went 633 the first pass, and we weren't allowed to continue based upon that time slip. So, now going back into it, I got my NHRA license, I got a window net, and I have the chassis certified. We got everything we need to go, as way faster than that. I mean, we've been 576 with the truck now at 126. So that's not even what we have. We got a lot left in the truck. So
holy shit.
This year we're hoping to definitely dig pretty far into the fives. I'm not sure how far though, but we'll see, because I haven't ran it with the bed on it in quite a few months. We've been running that ODSS race all around with all those guys in a 590 index.
Okay. All right. So you have the experience on the track. What does your background in sled pulling look like?
It doesn't look too good. Last year was the first time I've ever hooked to a sled. So I talked to a couple of people. Blake Crenshaw, he's been a huge help throughout the whole process, and he kind of set me up with a third gear start and for the trans tune and all that. And we just kind of talked about like how to take off and try and lock the converter, and that's what we went with. And it seemed like it was going to work pretty well if I didn't let out of it. So I think this year, unless the truck feels like it's going to break in half, we're going to stay in it. And as long as it's pulling the sled, we're not letting out. So that's the main thing, is I kept letting out and losing momentum. But this will be the third time I've ever been doing a sled, because I wanted to actually try it at the beginning of this month at one of Sarah Phillips' races, but we weren't able to get the truck running in time. So
all right, so you've had the competitive truck there last year. You said coming in 6 overall. That's a big deal. This is a tough competition. One of the spots that I saw surprisingly take out a lot of trucks was the street drive. Single S400, big fuel system. What does the street drive look for you? Was it tough on the truck? Were you overheating? Were you worried about it? Was it just nothing? Did you breeze right through it?
No, I mean, not. It really wasn't bad. I mean, honestly, it was pretty simple. The truck street drives really, really well. I mean, even with 400 overs, Blake has it dialed in so well. I mean, we pretty much had the radio playing, and we're just chilling. I mean, it took the 100-mile drive like nothing, really. I think it should do it again, no problem, especially having the Allison in it and all that. So
now
its street drives pretty good. I mean, I take my girl to dinner in it all the time, so it's a very streetable setup still.
Now with this year, knowing where you placed last year, you had spoke on, you want to get the truck deep into the fives. You're doing a built motor, some other things like that. As far as the dyno goes, like, is that a strategy? You just want to replicate what was done last year? Are you looking to go for a bigger number? Like, what does that look like as far as strategy on the dyno?
We were looking to, I mean, before I blew the motor up a couple weeks ago, we had the plans of, I wanted to try and see upwards of about 1,800 horsepower out of that truck, but I don't know if it's possible. And because I mean, we're imagining at 5,800 pounds, to go 576 at 126. It's probably been close to 1,600 already, but we're not too sure on what it's going to do on the dyno. I'm not a huge dyno person, so we're just gonna, we're gonna give it what we got and see what it lays down. Really, that's what we did last year. We kind of were a little conservative last year. We stopped at 1,300 horsepower because I didn't want to grenade the stock bottom end. So, but we're gonna see. We'll see what it has.
I love that 1,300 horsepower was your limit on where you felt safe with the stock bottom end LLY. For all of our listeners out there, just about everybody else would recommend a much, much lower limit, probably somewhere around half of that.
I mean, it sounds like his engine was just built on a Tuesday, though. That dude that built that engine was straight. Damn.
It impressed the hell out of, definitely impressed the hell out of us. A lot of other people, we couldn't believe it.
Do you have some picks? Who else do you think is going to be tough at the competition? I mean, this sounds like a really competitive truck. I could certainly see you being in the top 3. It wouldn't take a lot for you to be there at all. Who else do you think would be on the podium with you?
I know Ben Francis. He's got a really stout truck. He ran really good last year. And David Petrick, I mean, if he keeps his truck together, that's a strong truck too. And that Joey Alderman, I think is his last name. He's got a really good run in Duramax. So, I mean, they were all, in the top 5 last year. I know David had some issues last year, but that's the trucks that I know are really solid. I'm not too sure on. I know there's a lot of really strong competition. That's for sure. But I'm not too familiar with some of the other trucks.
That's okay, man. Those are some good picks there. I think we've already heard those from some other guys too, and we know those trucks. They're gonna be tough to beat. But I love to hear that you're going out there. You're getting back into it. Sometimes I know when guys go through like the first year of a really tough competition that's brutal on you, it's brutal on the truck, it's brutal on the team. Sometimes it's tough to get the motivation to come back. But we're excited to see you. We wish you the best of luck at it. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah. Really, I got a bunch of people that have helped me along the way. Blake Crenshaw, he's tuned the truck all 3 years. And, we've had our ups and downs with the truck because it's been frustrating at times, but he's never given up on me. And that's really a big key to this, being successful and making a truck like this run good. So definitely giving a shout out to Blake. And my best friend, Casey Lavelle, he's done a great job. I mean, without him, the truck wouldn't even be where it's at today. He's helped me out with pretty much the entire build. I mean, every time we've had to pull the motor out, he's been right there with me, turning wrenches. Every time we've had to weld something, he's welded almost everything on that truck besides the cage. So Ken Kerr, Race Cars, they did the cage. Marty Brown, Race Engines, he helped me put the short block together that's been in the truck all year, and it's been a great motor. I have no complaints. It's just we had a backfire just like a couple weeks ago, ended up bending a couple Carrillos. So
oh no,
that's kind of what I'm dealing with right this minute. But and my girlfriend Gabby, she's been by my side the whole time too, and just having great friends and everybody, family that supported me throughout the whole thing. I mean, because sometimes, building a truck like this and when it breaks and you have a bunch of problems, and it's definitely stressful to stay in the game, that's for sure. And Sarah Chapman for putting on this great event. I mean, this King of the Street, it's one of the best events of the year, that's for sure. I always look forward to it. So
that's so good to hear, man. Yeah. Well, hey, good luck to you. We're excited to see you out at the competition and really kick some ass this year.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, guys. That was Justin Duffy, All-Truck Challenge competitor for 2021. This has been Paul Wilson.
And Chris Emke.
Thanks so much for listening.
I mean, it sounds like his engine was just built on a Tuesday, though. Yeah.